There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With over 140 channels in your vehicle, your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.
Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in for another lunchtime learning session here on CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and on today's menu, we're going to go back to the soundproofing and deadening experts over at Standartplast Canada, STP Canada, also known as, and we're going to talk a little bit deeper. We've done some great sessions this year. We've talked about soundproofing. We've talked about the benefits, the business model. We've talked about the different materials and why there are multi-layer solutions to solve these kind of problems and all that type of stuff. But today we're going to dive into, well, I guess we'll call it two parts. The first part is we're going to talk about soundproofing. Yes, soundproofing. Now, for most dealers tuning in, you're probably familiar with sound deadening or sound damping or that type of stuff, which is obviously very, very important, especially when it comes to sound quality. You know, a lot of us like that sound quality, and we have the customers that want to optimize their gear. But soundproofing, well, that's a whole other animal, and it's something that very few companies on the planet cater to. STP happens to be one of those companies. So we're going to talk with Ilya. Of course, he's a great teacher, and we're really happy to have him on again to talk a little bit about the soundproofing side of things, and not only about how it works, what materials it takes, but also maybe a little bit of the business. And to segue into that, we're also going to have a great dealer towards, halfway through the show. We're bringing on Kieran from Altered Sound. They are pretty much just pumping out, the STP product and all their builds. And we'd love to hear, their experience, how they find the product, how, what best way to use it and to sell it. And we're going to hear all that great stuff. So tune in, don't go away. We're definitely going to have a really great lunchtime learning session for you today. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and invite my first guest, which is Ilya Rizkov, representing STP Canada, that's Standartplast. And honestly, I think he's like way too smart to be on this show, but we're happy when we have him on. What's going on, Ilya?
Hello. How are you, Ben?
I'm very, very good. You've come on so many times and you've helped educate me, our audience, our dealers about sound, how it works, how to dampen it, how to control it, all different environments, applications, how serious STP is. The last one we did, we actually had the guys from Russia on, right? And we talked about like the mothership and all that stuff.
Where this is all coming from.
So we've established all that. Today, we're going to talk about something that I can tell you right now is the first time that we are talking about on any of our CMA broadcasts, and that is soundproofing. So my first question out of the gate, what is the difference between sound deadening and soundproofing?
Yeah, I think we've discussed it on partially touched that on our previous podcasts with you, and it's that difference of you need to apply a different product to actually reduce the noise. And what I wanted to also discuss is the additional benefits of the soundproofing your car right now. And I've sent you a video that we're going to show as well on how sound deadening in this case can help you with preparing your car for winter a little bit and protecting it from rusting, right?
What? Whoa. What? Did you just say we're talking about sound deadening materials that are going to help us in the winter and protect against corrosion?
Rust. Yeah, on the inside where you can apply the material.
Okay.
So it's a bit not only about soundproofing, but about what's coming up in the next few months, which is winter, obviously, and how dealers can benefit.
Interesting.
From suggesting soundproofing of their cars in next 3-4 months. To be honest, in Mother Russia,
yes,
winter is the busiest season for our install bays and centers because people go on vacation. They can afford to leave their car with the install center for few days for a week and spend their time with either with family or just just
Sure.
grab tickets and fly.
So hold on, I'm going to stop you right there, Ilya. Let's preface this a little bit. So what Ilya is referring to is that STP actually has standalone service centers branded STP throughout Russia and Europe.
Yeah.
And what you're referring to is that the business model is basically it's kind of like our Jiffy Lube over here in North America. You put your car in and you can change whatever oil real quick. Well, it's the same thing, but it's dedicated for soundproofing and deadening.
Yeah.
And the winter months is a profitable and busy month for this to be done. That's what
Yeah.
you're referring to.
And those centers, they only do soundproofing, no
Oh,
audio.
only proofing.
Only, no audio, nothing. It's just soundproofing.
So it's a thing by itself.
Yeah, it is huge in Russia. Like people, as I think on our first podcast, even official dealers, like not like German dealers, but like some European brand like Renault or Lada, for example, Russian brand, they offer soundproofing on an official dealership level as an add-on,
as a factory option.
Not a factory, but add-on.
Okay. Add-on.
Being installed in dealership. Like
Gotcha.
Here, for example, in Canada, you have your tinting option, right? So the
car remote start.
Next line would be soundproofing. Improve your better soundproofing.
So for those of you tuning in, whether you're a dealer or you're an expediter, this is something that's happening globally, whereby soundproofing is just on the menu, right? If you're an expediter and you're dealing with dealerships, it's on the menu. If you're a dealer tuning in, is this something that you guys have ever thought about, or maybe you already offer? I'd like to hear your comments if you want to chime in on this. Please continue, Ilya.
Yeah, and that's where we're trying to educate the market here and customers and dealers that there is a possibility and opportunity to do the soundproofing only. You don't need to install audio to install soundproofing. You might have customers who might come and say, hey, this is my daily ride. I want to drive like I'm driving Range Rover or BMW, So
make my Mazda a top of the line Mercedes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Interesting.
But anyway, we segueing back to the initial conversation of winter coming up and busiest months. I just wanted to highlight the point that some dealers transition fully from installing audio and soundproofing to remote starters, and because it's easy, quick, I know, and quite marginal, I would assume. But again, if you have time and capacity, soundproofing the car in winter can actually help you get this extra, whatever, X amount of money, extra margin, where you, instead of just, standing and doing nothing and waiting for next remote starter.
It's a great, it's again, something to add to the menu that you could push.
Some additional revenue channel for our dealers.
Okay, aside the fact that I get it, there's an opportunity here from a revenue standpoint. Winter, though, how does that affect the install or the performance of the materials when it comes to the colder weather months?
So our materials, and when we're going to talk about soundproofing, like a second layer, Aeroflex or Accent, they also serve as a heat proofing. So what we've done, what we've tested, and what I hear from customer base is that in winter times it takes longer for the car to get colder after you after you started it, after you drove for like an hour or so, right? And you have it just cools down for like much longer period of time, and it just keeps the heat inside. And not only that, but you can also spend less money on gas, just because your car will start heating up more quickly, because it's not losing so much heat while it's warming up, right? So it's one thing. And then in summer it's actually reversed, because it keeps all the cool inside, right? So, and that can be one of the selling points to your dealers, or sorry, to your end customers, where you can say, hey, like, and again, we're not talking about like $100 saved on gas in month, right? But some incremental change will probably save you a few bucks here and there. And again, it's not the main point. The point is that you can offer those services during winter time as well. And as we've seen with Russian market and with European market, it's actually can be quite profitable in winter times.
Okay, very interesting. So let's talk a little bit. So we talked about the benefits. We talked about the opportunity of it in the wintertime. We talked about temperature, which is interesting because that's something we don't think about when we think about those materials. Not only the retention of the heat, but the slowing down of the loss of the heat, which is interesting as well. Because if you go, I'm sorry, I'm going to move on to the next one, but I'm just thinking about an example. You're selling the customer on the remote start and so on. But if you put this in, from the time you park your car at Costco to the time you get back to it's probably still warm or warmer than it would have been without this treatment. Anyway,
obviously, if it's minus 30 degrees Celsius outside, it will probably get cold pretty fast.
Right, obviously. Now, this is what you refer to when you say heat proofing?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the heat proofing side of things.
And it's the same soundproofing materials you usually install in your cars that have heat-proof qualities.
Gotcha.
As an added benefit to not only soundproofing your car, but making it a bit more warmer or colder.
So talk to me, Ilya, a little bit about physically. Now we're talking about product-wise. What are we talking about difference between soundproofing and deadening?
So again, sound deadening, those are your regular butyl based materials, butyl rubber based materials. Butyl or bitumen. My thoughts are confusing a little bit here. So those are the ones that you apply as a first layer to remove all the vibrations.
Vibration control.
Yeah, vibration control. They have no soundproofing qualities or minimal soundproofing qualities. So if you want to actually reduce the noise coming inside or outside of the car, that's where you apply a second layer of soundproofing materials. And we saw those 3-layered products on the market, right? Like, that other companies are pushing for. My personal opinion on those products, you cannot roll them properly, so that might lead to some issues. Because if you're going to try to roll hard those I don't know how to call it, like sandwiches or multi-layer materials, if you want to properly roll it, you need to apply a lot of pressure, and it will probably rip the upper layer and like make some holes.
I can see where if you come to certain angles and everything, and if you apply too much pressure, something's gonna fail.
Yeah. So that's why, again, my personal opinion here, that with our solutions, you can properly roll your first layer, and then you slap your second, third layer on top.
So are you saying now for both sound deadening and proofing, you still start with a butyl rubber base layer? We'll call it a base layer.
Yeah, like you can, but it's not going to. It's not per our standards and recommendations.
Okay.
The only thing I can think of is when you install Biplast, our best soundproofing material, to your plastic panel of your door. So that's where you don't need to apply a first layer.
So just to qualify, sound deadening material, and then is it soundproofing or sound absorption materials?
We have both.
Okay. Sorry, let's keep going then. Okay, we're not there yet.
Biplast is sound absorption material. This would be your open cell foam material, and you can think of it as like a memory foam where you can squish it and then it fills back. And the way we design that material is that every single smallest cell is different size within the material, and that's when your noise wave comes into the material, it starts to jump between those cells and disperse, right? So if you had like cells of the same size, material would just go through it. The sound wave would just go through it. And same with our closed cell materials, which is soundproofing at this point. So it's just closed cell material that usually
is that sound block now you're talking about?
Noise block, you mean?
Sorry, noise block. Yeah.
That's actually the third layer that you apply on top of your soundproofing or sound deadening material. Sound absorbing material.
Absorption material.
Yeah. So this is like your cherry on a pie.
Like that's ultimate.
It's
ultimate.
Yeah, I would qualify it as a sound proofing rather than sound absorption.
Okay. So obviously STP has every angle covered, every layer covered, and options. I mean, even within sound absorption, you have options. We're not going to go too crazy into detail. I do suggest you guys go to the website and check that out. What I want to extract from you today, Ilya, is basically, the benefits, the opportunity for dealers to kind of look at that as maybe another revenue stream. The fact that the materials are there, and obviously you guys offer the training and everything you need to know about that. I want to circle back quickly to the corrosion thing. You kind of took me on a curveball on that. So can you speak to what you were referring to as far as corrosion?
Yeah. So if you can turn on that video, let's discuss it first, and then let's watch the video, I guess.
Okay,
so what you're going to see in this video, we've done a lab experiment in our laboratory where we have a door, unpainted, nothing, and we applied our material, sound deadening material, and we put it into salt solution.
Straight salt.
Mm-hmm. It's better explained in the video.
But I'm trying to understand. Is this because we're trying to demystify the fact that soundproofing can actually, add rust, or it hides rust or whatnot? Because I think that's something that I've heard anyways, that's a concern that customers have sometimes.
Yeah. And this experiment proves that it's completely not true. Again, if installed properly.
Okay, well, let's see what this is all about here.
Welcome to the STP Lab. Let's talk about rust. Many people think that metal body of a car corrodes beneath sound insulating materials. We have busted the myth, and in this video we'll show you how. A damaged metal surface corrodes under the influence of water and oxygen. In winter time, public utilities treat the city roads with de-icing agents. Usually they use sodium chloride, that is salt. It participates in oxidation reaction and the metal rusts even faster. Soundproofing can accelerate metal corrosion if the sound insulating material is installed improperly with violation of technology. For example, if the mounting surface hasn't been dried out properly, or if the material is rolled down loosely and there are cavities between the metal and the material. Imagine such a cavity is filled with moisture and salt. Corrosion is unavoidable. But what if we do everything properly? We'll show you what happens to the metal with the premium material STP Aero on it in a salt solution. This material is water repellent, and the specialists of the installation center STP Install always roll down materials correctly. For the experiment we used ladder 2109 door, a metal top, a 5% sodium chloride solution, a sheet of STP Aero Plus, a polyfilm roll. Best of all, we sanded and degreased a padded unpainted door. Then we put the STP Aero material on the part of the surface and roll it down firmly. We left the material for 24 hours to adhere to the door. At the second step, we prepared a salt solution. Almost the same we get when the de-icing agent reacts with water, but we increase the concentration of salt to accelerate the reaction. We line the top with a polyfilm to protect it from oxidation. We put the solution into the top and put the partly soundproofed door in the solution. The first rust stains appeared in 2 hours. In 24 hours, all the unproofed surface was covered with rust. We dried out the door and unmounted the material to check the metal beneath. It's not easy to unmount STP Aero. The adhesive layer is partially destroyed and small patches remain on the surface, but there's no rust at all. So our experiment proves that the correctly installed appropriate material protects your car not only from noise and vibration, but also from corrosion. You can find additional information on the STP Lab website. See you in the next video.
Okay. Well, I don't know if there's much to talk about there. It's pretty obvious. So a lot of people, or where this myth might come from, is from what I see from this video anyhow, material that has not been properly installed. And so that that comes up when it comes to proper installation methods, having the right tools to install. I know there was a statement here from Paul Bennett earlier about the STP rollers. Sudbury Car Audio is asking, are there different kind of rollers, or is there just the simple one?
Yeah, we have two kinds of rollers actually. One your regular standard size, and then one with a longer handle, and then we also have a wider option. So I think there are 3 or 4 options total, but they're running like hotcakes. Like I think we have so many on pre-order right now.
It's just a specific tool that, and like anything else, the best job is done with the right tools.
The thing is that what we saw here on the market is that dealers use those silicone or wooden rollers.
Mm-hmm.
What we have is stainless steel. It's heavy. You can properly roll it, and it's not as expensive as other stainless steel rollers.
Good sales job, Ilya. He's going to order some right there.
Yeah. So it does the job well, and I think it's just because it's heavy, and it
the
really
weight makes a difference.
You don't need to apply a lot of pressure to, but that's a separate discussion completely.
Mm-hmm. But again, as far as the corrosion goes, so we can move on to our next statement. I mean, that video is there; it's available if you guys want to watch it.
Yeah. Again, nothing specific to our products.
Mm-hmm.
I want to highlight that.
Okay, right.
Any sound deadening material installed properly will
inhibit corrosion from either propagating or even starting.
Yeah.
Okay. Very, very good. At this time, we've got a dealer in the back studio we want to bring on, like I promised in the beginning. You covered a couple things I want to kind of circle back and get their input on. The dealer in question is Altered Sound. Now, they've been on CMA before, but we have a different character joining us from Altered Sound today. Let's get him on and pick his brain a little bit about the category, the opportunity, and maybe a little testimonial from the use of STP product. What's going on, Mr. Murphy? Kieran Murphy from Altered Sound. Well, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Ben. Hey, Ilya. Thanks for having me on, guys.
So you guys pump out some sick whips, bro.
Thank you. Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've been featuring you guys all year long. I think we had Dean on in another episode. Tell us a little bit about Altered Sound. Where are you guys located? What's your specialty? What are you all about?
Okay, yeah, we're based in Oakville, Ontario here. Honestly, we get our hands on a little bit of everything. A big product that we're doing right now is motorcycles. The Harley Davidson audio has been a huge category right now, as well as, obviously your cars and your radios, your remote starters and everything. Like Ilya says, we're getting.
You guys are pumping out a lot of motorcycles. I've seen the kids doing some high end stuff, some Rockford and all the other different brands. Really nice work.
That's it. Our shop is a little overwhelmed right now. It's a little hard to get around, but every bike that we get out, it seems like we got 2 more coming in. But
wow, so bike is flourishing for you guys.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's really good, but I don't know where all these motorcycles come from.
You know what? COVID spawned motorcycle enthusiasts. That's what it is.
That's it.
But you know what? As far as I'm concerned, keep them coming, right?
Exactly. Big time. Yeah, big time. No, it's awesome. And it's interesting to get into, the different aspects of it and where, such small spaces can benefit so massively from proper deadening and proper, acoustical treatment and everything, right?
Okay, so before we get too far ahead of ourselves, you guys have been an STP dealer for quite some time. So you've had experience in a couple different... Yes, Ilya, you want to say something?
I wanted to highlight that Altered were our first adopters in Canada.
So you're like early adopter OG STP partner.
Number one customer.
Okay, number one customer. All right, well, then I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper than that. So the category, let's go high and then we'll kind of narrow it down in like a funnel. Okay, so we're talking sound deadening. You heard Ilya kind of talk about soundproofing. Let's start there. What does Altered Sound currently offer? Are you doing only sound deadening? Are you already doing proofing? Is that something you're looking at? Like, where are you at?
All across the spectrum, quite honestly. Yeah, it's I mean, a lot of it is what does the customer want? And the biggest difference I would say, especially, I mean, I actually wasn't aware of the locations in Russia that you guys had set up, but I would say most customers that we have are not we don't have a lot of people coming to us saying we want sound deadening. We have a lot of people coming to us saying we want good audio, we want good sound, and this and that. And what we're able to do is say, okay, well, with the budget and with the price point you have, I'm able to give you, a lot more of this product here because it is such a good price point versus some of its competitors. And let's integrate some of this stuff. Whereas before, that conversation wouldn't exist because of the price points, where, you're talking about getting into sound deadening cars or, even motorcycles, you were easily getting into the hundreds of dollars, if not, potentially thousands when you start layering up and getting into the sound blocking and deadening and everything else, and getting those products more accessible to the customers, allowing us to inform them a little bit more and get them more product to get that end quality sound. So, maybe instead of going for the absolute best speaker that you can find to try and get that quality out of it, well, let's properly treat your doors. Let's seal it up a little bit. Let's get a difference of space and get some separation. And, maybe those mid-range speakers will do a lot more for you, but now you're also getting the benefits like we talked about of heat retention, sound deadening from outside. So now you're not getting as much driver fatigue because you're not getting the ambient noises and everything else, et cetera, right? And the rust proofing, it's
so many talking points. I hear you saying it now, and I'm pretending I'm the customer. I'm just going to rewind on a comment you just said. A customer comes in, they want better sound. They're not coming in saying, hey, man, what kind of sound deadening you got? They're saying, listen, I'm not happy with the sound in my ride. Can you hook me up? What you're saying, Kieran, is that at the price point that STP has with their products, this is an easier integration into your pitch to your customer as a complete service package. Big time. Than it was before. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's important because you just said something that we've touched on a couple different shows. What's a better solution? Sell your customer the highest end possible speaker out at the top range of his budget? Or let's cut that down a little bit, but let's make sure he's got the best accessory, the best sound dampening, the treatment, and the best install possible. Maybe it's a ring, maybe it's a custom something to maximize the performance of maybe not the highest end speaker, maybe a notch down, but take that budget and put it into, let's call it the install.
That's it. Our favorite phrase at Altered is bang for buck. It's not always about what is the best quality, what is the absolute best product, what is, because every customer has a different opinion. One guy wants the most amount of bass he can possibly find, another guy doesn't want any bass at all. And that goes across every part of the spectrum. But it allows you to, get that more custom solution for that customer to get that bigger bang for the buck.
So you're feeling the value of what STP offers as a product is really attractive. Also, on top of all the talking points that we just talked about, it comes in at a very interesting price point as a dealer.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's not to say it's cheap because there's no sound deadening material that is cheap, but
because material's material. Like
that's it. You pay for what you get for, right?
Like leather. I'll compare it to leather. You can get cheap cowhide leather if you want to make a belt with it or chew on it like jerky, or you want premium lambskin. It ain't the same price. Right?
That's it. But then there's also to say you can get that premium lambskin from multiple different sources and multiple different price points. So.
Okay, so now before I talk to soundproofing, you said, did I hear you say you're soundproofing your bike installs as well? Talk to us about that.
Big time. Yeah, there's two aspects. We like to differentiate our bikes from 2013 to down to 2014 and up, because they did a pretty big change around that year with the Harley Davidson specifically, where we started seeing actual speaker pods integrated into the front fairings. From the 2013 down, putting some of the biplast in behind the fairing there allows you to actually get a bit of a back pressure and cut out some of the standing back wave, because it's basically a wide open area. It's tight, it's small and everything else, but there is no rear enclosure like you might get with more of a door panel or a pod. Now, in the 2014 and the newers, we actually have pods in there, but then we can take advantage of that and actually get some deadening, because it's a hard plastic box with some gnarly angles and corners and everything else, So
and really not a friendly environment for higher end sound.
No, big time. And then there's no real. With everything being plastic, we're not really benefiting from that anti-corrosion per se. But at the same time, we are going and sealing every little nook and cranny, so therefore there's no egress of water, right? So, not that we're worried about the plastic, but now it's, keeping all the water off the back of the speaker, keeping all the water out of the connections and everything else, because Harleys
Nobody
just
likes
happen-
moist, man. Nobody likes moist.
That's it. and Harleys get, wet. They do. As much as guys say we don't ride in the rain and everything, it happens.
Well,
You get stuck
pressure
out.
washing them alone.
Exactly. Big time. Exactly. And that's why. So, being able to seal off every little nook and cranny there, but more importantly, the sound, I'm trying to think of the right word here, because we're not going so much for sound deadening, but it does cut out a lot of that standing back wave while not being a massive, bulky, oversized product. A simple sheet of biplast can do a whole lot for you, and it doesn't take up a ton of space where we don't have a ton of space to play with.
No,
we can't
you're in tight quarters.
Big time. There's no chance of doing multiple layers of this and that and everything else. So getting the most product we can versus size and weight is massive in that.
How do
aspect.
Walk me through this conversation? I'm an owner of the bike. I've heard, obviously it's always word of mouth, right, with bikes. Buddy, I saw that system you just set up, my buddies. I want something. I don't want the same. I want better and louder than him. So
they always say that.
They always say that. We know this. But how do you? Is it something that it's just included? Like it is what it is. Like I'm not putting a system without this, or do you mention? Like, just talk to me about the process of how you pitch the customer.
I mean, for the most part, we include a lot of small. There's kind of an expectation where, if we're putting in, like, let's say our go-to system on a, you say you bring me a 2014, 2015 Street Glide or something like that. I'm going to say, your go-to on the top end is going to be some Focal HDKs and, maybe a Rockford T400x4 and some stuff like that. And with that kind of setup, we're talking about some basic sound deadening and some material in the pods and everything else.
No, I don't really need that stuff. I just want the speakers.
Right, and so and that's, you've been made so many times, but a lot of the times you find that's going to get you that extra snap, that extra kick, that extra punch, where with such a small enclosure, such a small space with only a 6.5-inch speaker, remember, most of the time there are some caveats, but most of the time there's no subwoofers on these motorcycles. So we're trying to get as much low end out of these 6.5.
New solutions I've seen come up in that category. But anyhow, that's another discussion.
Yeah, big time. But and that's, and we are looking into that, right? Like I've got a bike in the shop right now. It's getting 4 pairs of speakers on.
But if you're doing lids on bags, are you not sound dampening the inside of those lids? I mean, you have to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. On the inside as well, but I mean, it is still quite hard to get a perfect seal around the lip of the bag, but the foamy materials and whatnot can definitely assist in that. Big time, though. I mean, everything on those motorcycles are thin, lightweight, and there's really no structure or rigidity to it. We've got some motorcycle saddlebags out there that actually have 8-inch and dual 8-inch woofers in them, we went ahead and lined those up with a bunch of the STP Golds, and
that must help with the rattling too, right? I mean, on a bike,
exactly,
everything's exposed. There's no hiding behind anything. Okay, very cool. I've never had this long discussion about sound deadening a motorcycle, which is really cool. I'm gonna come back a little steps. Soundproofing now. And be honest, is there customers coming in saying, "Listen, I need my car soundproof"?
We've definitely had a number of customers coming in saying most of the time you find is road noise. Now it is getting a lot better with the newer vehicles. They're doing a lot more of the spraying and the frame and everything else. But we have definitely had a few customers coming in complaining about road noise and whatnot like that. But usually you find with those kind of people, they're the higher end, audiophiles, as much as I try to avoid that term, but they're the ones that really they're aware of it. They know the product. They've had some experience with it typically, and they're the ones that are coming in saying, "I want true blocking. I want true deadening. Let's kill all ambient noise, and then let's go and build up our soundstage from there."
Okay, so those are the hardcore audiophile enthusiasts.
Typically.
What about what Ilya is talking about, where it's nothing to do with audio? I just want a quieter space in my car because I spend so much time in it.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened? I'm just curious. Is this something that could be an emerging trend? I don't know. I'm asking.
I definitely don't think the quite frankly, the education's out there. I would say if you ask most drivers in Canada that, do you know what sound deadening is and do you know what the benefits are for your vehicle? I would say most of them don't. And that would be the biggest factor. We have a lot of people, my sister included, bought a new car and she's like, "Oh, it sounds great. I don't need a sound system or anything else." But that's all they think about, right? They don't think about, well, I can hear the cars driving by, or I can hear the buses, right? All the wind noise or whatever it may be, which, as has been proven with, especially long haul drivers, truckers, everything else, driver fatigue. And so cutting out all that ambient noise, not only does it give you a more pleasurable ride, but it can actually be safer. And, if you're going on those long haul runs.
There is another category that we didn't discuss, but Ilya and I have talked about previously, and that is the executive customer. Whether they're governmental vehicles, police vehicles, escort vehicles that require, as much silence or dead sound as possible. Is that a thing?
I personally haven't had experience with that. I mean, the only fire truck that I know that Altered's done was a kind of a showpiece with some big PA speakers on it and all that kind of stuff.
It's a sound system on a fire truck.
Yeah, it was pretty insane build. Unfortunately, it was before my time. I didn't get a chance to hear that one, but I saw some pictures kicking around. But we've done some fire trucks and some emergency responder stuff like that. But I find a lot of those vehicles, again, it's what's broken, we need to fix it. There's
interesting. So no like limo companies like, listen, I got a fleet of 6 vehicles, I want them soundproofed.
Not for us yet, but I mean, if you do give us a call, we'll get you a good price.
Apparently you can do it. Yeah. Okay. Ilya, I'm going to give you an opportunity. So I've been talking so much. I'm so intrigued with Kieran's story here. Anything that you'd like to bring up with Kieran?
Yeah, I mean, guys there not only do cars and motorcycles, they also use our products on marine
boats. Yes.
Boats.
Interesting.
And
how is that? I mean, is there marine specific product, or are you saying all the product is marine grade?
Not all of them. Like
Okay.
you can use our sound deadening. That should be fine. Soundproofing, sound absorption materials you definitely don't want to use because they resist the water, but they can absorb some. So,
right. You don't want a soggy sponge.
So you don't want, yeah, but just to remove that vibrations from the hole. That definitely works,
especially boats with sleeper arrangements. That would be a big thing for sure.
Other big markets we are for right now are the RVs.
People don't
think about it, and that's also because of the heat proofing, where you don't need to spend, and that's where you can probably find more savings, where you don't need to heat up the whole RV for so long.
I would say it's also more about keeping the AC in.
Keeping the AC in as well, yes. And then our next biggest market is the commercial and home soundproofing. And we have a different category of products. Well,
it's interesting because a lot of our customers, obviously all our customers are 12-volt specialists, but a lot of our customers, Altered Sound included, also do home stuff. Whether it's home stereo, 2-channel, or home theater, or automation. A lot of our customers are multi-purpose stores, right? So that's interesting. With STP, you offer those solutions in those categories.
And we don't have them in stock yet, like specific to commercial and house soundproofing, but that's in our plans. We have a really cool. We have 2 different solutions. Sorry, I'll jump into this a little because it's so exciting to me. We have internal solution, the one that you put inside your walls and floors, and then you put your flooring on top of it. We have even solution, the one you put before pouring the what's it called, like the concrete layer of the floor. So you put one solution first, pour concrete, another solution on top of that, and then your flooring. And then we also have external soundproofing, which the ones you might find in cinemas, for example, right? When you walk into the cinema, those reflective panels. And what we were able to design is a total high-end, super expensive stuff, but you can have your whatever picture you want printed on that material, on that panel, and installed in your house, studio.
That's ridiculous.
It's
that's like MTV Crib status.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? That's MTV Cribs. I don't know if you even know. You guys are even old enough to know MTV Cribs. But anyhow, no, that's super cool. And it's all about the sound control, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you guys are talking about. I'm going to pass the microphone to you, Kieran. We have Ilya here, specialist. Is anything you'd like to add or ask based on what you heard today?
I'm definitely going to need some more information on the newer products you're bringing in there for the home. Definitely. But I just... Thank you for bringing STP into Canada.
While you say that, now talk to your fellow dealers. So Altered Sound, here you guys use the stuff. Why would you recommend it? Give me a couple of key points here that dealers need to kind of think about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, circling back to a few things like we were saying, biggest thing for us, I would say is the price point allows us to get it into more solutions and get more results out of less product in that sense. That's the biggest thing I would say for us. Second thing is, the waterproofing. Well, first of all, the anti-corrosion, but also the water-resistant capabilities of the material allows us to put it in so many different applications. It's not restricted, and
Right,
typically you find. Exactly, and you find most of the time, most companies offer a butyl rubber, and that's about it. Where that's great for dampening, like we were saying, it doesn't really do anything for your standing waves or your higher frequencies there, and that's where these other products really come in. And I mean, you can see the website. There's a number of products.
Yeah, there's a lot of products to go through. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it feels overwhelming for new dealers. I can understand that, but you can confirm this. Like once you start understand different levels of products and why we have those different like silver, gold, and diamond lines, and so it's like a matrix: silver, gold, diamond, and then sound deadening, soundproofing, sound absorption. You have all products within this matrix, and once you understand this matrix, it's not as hard as people might think.
Yeah,
No.
even I have to admit, I remember the first time we came on here, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be overwhelming. I thought, I thought this stuff was like one layer and put it down. How can we do a show about this? We've done like 7 shows about this now. That's how deep it goes. But yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
So you recommend it, the price points, the moisture, the corrosion, the different types of product for different scenarios. It's definitely what makes STP unique on many different levels. Listen, we are excited to see whatever builds you guys keep coming up with. We're going to keep on featuring them on CMA, of course. I want to give a shout out to your crew. And thanks for taking the time to share with us your experience today, Kieran, and your recommendations as well. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, Kieran.
Take care. Have a good one, guys.
So Altered Sound, man, that's a pimp shop, man. They put out some pretty heavy duty stuff. It's cool to see that they're like your OG shop. So happy to have them on.
Yeah.
So let's recap today's show real quick. We talked about soundproofing. We talked about obviously sound dampening, sound absorption. We talked about it as a potential business model, especially in the wintertime, something for dealers to think about. And you heard from Kieran, like they do it all, right? Maybe it's an emerging market. Maybe you're an expediter.
100% it is. It's not even developing market in Canada yet, and that's what we've been working on what we've been working on for 2 years already, or was it 3 already? Anyway,
yeah, for the last while.
for the last 2 years at least, and we see an opportunity to bring this market to like raise this.
And it's about education, like Kieran said.
Education, yeah, and you know what, like. There are so many people in Russia or Europe who has this installed, and you can like show it to other people, and you can actually feel the difference.
I was just thinking myself, if I had a shop, I had a demo vehicle, and I did that treatment, I said, you know what, I'll show you something. Put them in the car.
Yeah.
And start yelling at them from the outside. And
do like, one block round, and
and
people will start wanting this even without audio.
Right.
I can guarantee that.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Then we talked about temperature, cooling, heating, keeping your cool in, keeping your heat in, having it not dissipate as quickly to the outside.
Yep.
And these are all added value, added benefits of this type of treatment. From there, we talked about so heat proof. Yes, and of course the corrosion. So myth has been busted. Adding sound deadening material of any brand, not just STP, will not make your car rust. Just make sure whoever's putting it in is putting in properly.
Even if you put it under the solution of salt and water.
Even if you feel like spraying salt and water on it at the same time. But STP does offer proper tools. According to Ilya, there's 3 kinds, different weights, and because it's stainless steel construction, a little bit of weight to it. We've heard from a couple dealers who dropped in messages here in our comments that, yep, absolutely great option for install. I think that covers it, man. Now, there is one big news that we kind of been saving for the end of the show, and I'll let you talk all about it.
We should have probably mentioned it in the beginning as well, so people don't drop off. But
they won't drop off. We have more viewers at the end than the beginning. We're good.
Okay, so we're gonna start our Black Friday promotion tomorrow, which is going to be 40% off on all our products. Yes, this is the biggest this year. We had 30 previously. Now we're going all.
Well, I seen the 25 year anniversary.
Yeah,
I believe last year's Black Friday was 30.
Yeah, this year it's 40. Just contact us, contact Sobel if you're a dealer.
So wait, let's
Yeah.
be clear. We're talking all dealers. This is all for dealers as well. This is not consumer. This is dealers. So Black Friday deal, 40% off all STP products. If you want more information, stp-canada.com is the website. There's the phone number. If you're interested in becoming an authorized dealer, go ahead and contact Sobel Imports. There's the phone number for them. There's their website. But how long is this? Well, obviously, it's Black Friday deal. So I'm assuming this only starts tomorrow, which is Friday.
Starts tomorrow, and we're going to keep it until the end of next week, Sunday. So,
okay. So more than a week.
Yeah, little bit more than.
And inventory levels are good because this might go like crazy here.
Yeah, we're good.
Right.
And then another thing I wanted to mention. The first one who messages us with an order or inquiry to become a dealer, we will send them a free Tier 1 package for soundproofing the car, like sound deadening, first layer.
As of right now, whoever messages, message what? In email?
Just email or for the form on the website.
First one comes in, you're getting a free pro bono starter Tier 1 package. Kit. These are dealers only, Canadian dealers only.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's somebody already signing that up right now as we speak. But the first one that Ilya receives is going to get a full Tier 1 package, courtesy of STP, for tuning into today's Connected episode. And I want to remind you one more time, Black Friday deal starts tomorrow, 40% off, stp-canada.com. Bro, that's it for this season, man. Thank you so much for all the sessions and all the information you brought to the table. You guys are doing a fantastic job.
No, thank you, Ben, for organizing all of that, for supporting the industry overall. I'm looking forward for the next season to, like, we're definitely going to have more of those.
These are great. And get more dealers on and just
more
educate, more education.
Yes, that's what we're here for.
Amazing. On that note, I'm going to say Merry Christmas because we're not going to have you on until next year. And thank you so much to you and Bodgin and the team in Russia, Mother Russia, as you say. And we'll see you in the new year. Thanks so much.
See you, Ben. Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
So that was Ilya Rizkov. This is CMA Connected. The deal you see on the bottom is Black Friday, minus 40% off all STP products going for a week starting tomorrow. And if you haven't already, maybe you still stand a chance. First dealer to message STP Canada with an order or dealer inquiry, so you could be an existing dealer. You get a full Tier 1 package, a starter pack of all the great products that STP has to offer. That's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys, for another CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. This one was all about STP Canada. We'll see you tomorrow. It's Friday tomorrow, and we'll see you on the next one. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. My name is Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Hey, Kevin, do you want some lasagna?
Basically like a barrel.
I made lasagna.
What?
I made lasagna.
Who's Tanya?
What?
What?
Kevin, do you want some lasagna?
You stepped in what?
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 What? What?
I made lasagna.
Tomorrow is mañana.
What?